will forever be broken if you are not going to fix that child, if you're not going to help that child, if you're not going to heal that inner child. You will forever be a broken adult. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about why children of narcissistic parents struggle with emotional regulation. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. And this video is for the adult children who have been told that they are too sensitive, too dramatic, too cold, or too intense. And it's for the ones who feel everything, and also for the ones who feel nothing at all and can't understand why. So, I mean, if you were raised by a narcissistic parent, there is a reason why emotional regulation is hard for you. In some cases, impossible. Yeah. And it's not because you are damaged. It's because your emotional world was never seen, never validated, and often punished. Yeah. And you were gaslit in return. Yeah. So your emotional world was always minimized. They shamed, guilt tripped you, they invalidated your emotional experience, and they outrightly labeled you, oh, stop overacting, you're just making it up, you're just cooking stories, that's not how things are, that's not how it was. Yeah. So this video is all about that. I mean, why do we find it difficult to emotionally regulate ourselves? Yeah. And today I want to help you all understand why this happened, how it shows up now, and how you can begin healing gently at your own pace. No need to rush. And healing is never an hour business or a year project. No, it takes time. It's an ongoing process, and everyone's pace is different. Everyone's way of processing thing is different. So it's not something that you can just force and push, and I can set a timeline that yes, in 1 month I am going to help you heal. That is all bullshit. And if on social media you come across such therapists and individuals and content creators who say yes, healing is possible, you do this, some karmic BS, some this, some that, please don't fall for it. Everyone's healing process is different and the timeline is different. So don't fall for all that bullshit. I mean, healing takes time. It is painful. Nobody talks about the painful thing that happens during the healing process. So don't fall for it. I mean, there is no easy way and there is no one fixed way. Yeah, everyone's process, method, way, perception, everything is different. Yeah, and everyone's journey is different. Yeah, so there is no one rule that fits all. Now let's dive deep. Let's start with a truth you weren't allowed to say as a child. What was it? Think about it. I don't feel safe feeling. That's it. You didn't feel safe crying. Do you remember? You didn't even feel safe, being angry, being happy. Or, even, you never ever felt safe, being excited. Because every emotion you had was either used against you, mocked, shamed, minimized, or made fun of. Yeah. And that's the reason, we stopped expressing. That's the reason we stopped feeling. We always, were doubtful. Is it the right way to feel about? Is it the right way to express? Yeah. And again, the credit goes to a narcissistic parent. Yeah. They trained us, they groomed us. Yeah. And how did they do that? Every time we expressed emotion, every time we were angry, every time we were crying, or we were happy, or we were excited about things, in return they mocked us, in return they minimized us, in return they shamed us, made us feel guilty. They reminded us how they have suffered because of us, how much they have sacrificed for the sake of us, all that BS. And to tell you honestly, in healthy homes, children learn how to regulate their emotion by watching their parents respond to their needs. Yeah. So if a child cries, the parent comforts. If a child gets angry, the parent stays calm. If a child feels anxious, the parent offers grounding. And this is what co-regulation is. And this is how we learn that our emotions are absolutely safe to feel and experience. But in narcissistic families, there is no co-regulation. It's all about control, performance, and if you fail to do things, punishment. Yeah. And all of this, teaches the child one thing, and that is my feelings are dangerous, and if I express them, I'll lose love or I will get hurt in return. Yeah. Now let me give you a couple of examples for you to process this, in a better way. So, if you cried, you were told to stop being dramatic. If you got angry, you were told that you're being disrespectful. All of this happened with me, and I'm sure you guys must have experienced this at some point in your life as well. Growing up with your narcissistic parents. If you were excited, they would find a way to ruin the moment or make it all about them. Yeah, again, all about me. Yeah. So if you're excited about something, they are going to literally shift your excitement. They are literally going to make you feel guilty and shift your focus back onto them. Yeah, because they breed for return. They brought you in this world solely to serve them. If at times you were quiet, you were accused of having an attitude. She's having ego, he's having ego, look at her attitude, she hardly speaks to us. Yeah. And eventually you literally came to a point where you stopped showing your emotion altogether. And this was not because you didn't feel them. It was solely because, you were trying to survive and avoid all those labels, avoid all those guilt trips, shame, and all of those, bad things. Yeah. Now, let me tell you what happens, when you grow up that way. Your nervous system doesn't know what peace feels like. It's an alien thing. It doesn't feel home. It only knows, your nervous system only knows how to shut down or just blow up, just flare up, blow up, and just blast or just shut down, numb. That's it. Yeah. You go into freeze when someone raises their voice, or you feel completely numb during conflict, or you explode over something small and then feel deeply ashamed about it. Yeah. About your reaction and behavior. And to tell you honestly, these aren't your personality flaws. They are pure trauma response. Yeah? And it all makes total sense when you realize how much you had to suppress just to stay emotionally safe around people who didn't care about your safety. You had to shape shift, you had to suppress, you had to sacrifice, you had to let go, you had to ignore, you had to do a lot of things to keep yourself safe, you had to do a lot of things to protect yourself. Yeah. Now let us talk about 4 common emotional patterns that I see in survivors of narcissistic parents. The first one is emotional flooding. So a small argument, a text left on read, a strange tone of voice, and suddenly your entire system is spiraling. Your body feels unsafe, your heart is racing, and you are either crying, yelling, or shutting down. Now the question is why? Because the trigger isn't about the present, it's about the emotional landmines you grew up with. Yeah. So the way how you tiptoed around in your family around conversation, around situation and scenario, it's because of that in today's time, in your current life situation, it's extreme. Your fight and flight response just gets activated. You are constantly scanning for threats, you're constantly scanning for irregularities to keep yourself safe. And when you are experiencing things which are the way they are, but in the past those things actually tormented you, those things came with, some kind of punishment and some kind of strange experience. So in today's time, when you experience such thing, all of a sudden you go into that fight and flight state, yeah, and you end up either crying, howling, yelling, shutting down, fighting, doing all sorts of nasty things. Yeah. So I mean, individuals like us who are product of narcissistic household, we do suffer from emotional flooding. The other thing that is quite common with individuals who are raised by narcissistic parent is emotional numbing. Something is wrong but you feel nothing. Yeah, you should cry, you should be upset, but you are just blank, numb, cold. Yeah, and to tell you honestly, that's not emotional coldness, that's pure burnout. Your system doesn't feel safe enough to express anything at all. Yeah, so it's a burnout. It's not that you are emotionally cold. You are absolutely okay, but these are adaptations. These are the things that you picked up. These are the modifications that was put in you. Yeah, so that you were more docile, you were more easy to work with. Yeah, and these are purely trauma responses. These are not a part of your personality. This is not who you are. Yeah. The other common emotional pattern that I see in survivors of narcissistic parent is over explaining your emotions. You can't just feel something, you have to justify it, explain it, convince others that it is valid, because deep down you are still afraid your feelings will be dismissed, mocked, shamed, criticized, made fun of, the way they were when you were little by your narcissistic parents. And the last, emotional pattern that I get to see, with the survivors of narcissistic parent is guilt for feeling anything. So you feel sad, then you feel bad for being ungrateful. You feel angry, then punish yourself for overreacting. Even joy feels dangerous sometimes because you are waiting for it to be taken away. The guilt is not intuition, it's pure trauma. Yeah, so I mean, if you are happy, you feel guilty. If you're sad, you feel guilty. If you are angry, you feel guilty. You start punishing yourself. And again, it's rooted in your childhood, because every time you expressed an emotion, it was not treated the way how sane individuals react and treat and behave. Instead, you were punished, you were given labels, you were guilt tripped, you were shamed, mocked, laughed at. Yeah, so as a result of which you started feeling this guilt by default. You started experiencing this guilt, and because of all of that, you started developing guilt for feeling anything. Yeah, and that's how you survived. And all of that survival strategies that you picked up and developed in your current life, in your adulthood, it actually controls different areas of your life. Yeah, and before I proceed further, let me pause and say this clearly: you are not crazy, you are not weak, you are not broken. You are dysregulated, and for a very good reason. You were raised by someone who needed you to suppress your truth so they could stay in control. You weren't allowed to be a child. You became their emotional caretaker. And now, even as an adult, your nervous system is still stuck in that survival state. Yeah, I mean, because it happened for so long that now it's become a part of who you are. Yeah, and you can't really understand or differentiate. Yeah, because you never experience anything healthy. Yeah, so toxic becomes a part of your reality. You start believing that this is how it is, this is how I need to behave, react, and function, and that's it. I'm sure you guys must be wondering, I mean, as to how to heal from this. And here are 4 ways that I recommend to clients and survivors I work with. I mean, this is based on my personal experience, and it does work, to tell you all honestly. So you all can also give it a try. And I mean, see how it works out. I mean, there's no harm in trying. I mean, it's free, it's there, so just use it. Just try and see if it works out. If it works out, good. If it doesn't, then I mean, there is no harm in taking help and seeking help from an expert. Now, the first way to heal from all of this is to name the emotion without apologizing for it. Say out loud, this is sadness, it's allowed. This is anger, I'm not wrong for feeling it. Yeah? And to tell you honestly, you are not your emotion, but you are allowed to have it. Yeah? So your emotion doesn't define you. Yeah? You are not your emotion. Yeah? You are allowed to experience and have it and express it, and that's it. So naming your emotion, naming your feelings and your experience takes the shame out of it. Remember the shame, the different way they used to shame you, criticize you, mock you. So when you name your emotion, you are simply, getting rid of that shame, that baggage of shame and guilt. The other way, you can heal from emotional, dysregulation is by using your senses to ground your body. Yeah, I mean, I personally use this and it helps me. Sometimes I do experience panic attack, and this thing really helps me. I have simplified it for you guys. So I mean, what you need to do is touch something textured, some texture, some different texture, not smooth and regular one. Touch some different texture. Breathe into your belly, hold something cold, or maybe just take off your slipper or shoe and just touch the ground. Yeah, feel the cold floor. Yeah, and just tell yourself loud so that you can hear. Tell yourself that I'm safe. This moment is not my childhood. Yeah, and this is basically to teach your body to understand and spot the difference between past and now. Yeah, I mean, this is basically to train your body that whatever is happening, it's in present, and it's got to do nothing with the past. Yeah, and that's how you retrain. That's how you in a way reparent, re-educate yourself, and you create new pathways. Yeah, and that's how you heal, by retraining yourself. The other thing that you can do is to reparent your inner child in real time. So whenever you feel triggered, ask yourself, what would I have needed back then? Maybe a hug, a validation, someone to say, I see you, you're not wrong. And give all of these things to yourself. Yeah, either through words, tone, or action. And that's what reparenting looks like, when you treat that inner wounded child and not just ignore. I don't need to do all these things, kids only do these things. No, that kid missed a lot of things. You need to give that kid what the kid wanted in the childhood, and that's a fair deal. That's a good thing. Yeah, because if you are able to rescue that child is going to grow up to be a healthy and a strong individual. Yeah, so you will forever be broken if you are not going to fix that child, if you're not going to help that child, if you're not going to heal that inner child. You will forever be a broken adult. And the last way to help yourself with emotional regulation is to let co-regulation happen. You don't have to do it alone. I mean, for some of us it might be difficult. So I mean, that's the reason therapies are becoming more and more popular. Yeah, you don't have to do it alone. There are safe spaces, and safe people with whom you can talk. You don't have to hide and sulk and suffer in silence. No, I mean, you can speak to your therapist. maybe join a support group, or even, you can have a pet. Pets can, help you, regulate your nervous system. And to tell you honestly, all of this problem is because you were isolated for too long. You were disconnected from your own self. You were isolated. You never had any healthy connection. So you need to re-establish that, either with a therapist, a support group, get a pet. Yeah, I mean, meet people who are not judging you, and that's it. It does the magic. Yeah, it helps you co-regulate. As therapists, we are trained to regulate you. Yeah, I mean, we are qualified, we have studied, we have, learned from our practice, and we can, help you co-regulate. So I mean, it's really essential, you know to be with a therapist, or to be with a support group, or to be with your loved one. Yeah, I mean, I did, have a toxic relationship in the past, but when I met my husband, um, things changed. Yeah, I helped him co-regulate, and he helped me co-regulate. So I mean, it's a real thing, and it helps, it aids, and it really helps you, recover. I mean, and there's nothing bad in, getting into this co-regulation. Let others help you regulate. There's no harm. Yeah, but I mean, don't fall for the wrong ones, because then they are going to distort things and torment you, and really mess you up. Now we have come to the end of this video, and let me end with this. If you have spent most of your life feeling like your emotions were a curse, or that you had to constantly manage how others feel at the cost of your own truth, let me tell you honestly, it's not because you're broken. It's because you were raised in emotional chaos and expected and forced to act normal. But you are not a problem to be fixed. Please get that clear in your head. You're not a problem to be fixed. The problem were them and not you. You are a human learning to feel again. Yeah, and that's the goal of this channel. You know, that's the goal, of people like me, healers, coaches, therapists. We want you to heal, we want you to feel again. Yeah, we want you to become whole. Yeah, so yes, this was it. In case if you would like to add in something, please comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.